What's up, everybody? The Superman press tour is kicking into high gears. We're now less than a month away from the movie hitting theaters, and now we've got some news on the new DCU Trinity, the Big Three. Let's dive in. First off, James Gunn confirmed that Superman will indeed have a post-credit scene, and funny enough, there was a report a couple weeks ago about the credit scenes, and Gunn's comments do back those reports up, in my opinion. Gunn said, "I have a philosophy about post-credit scenes. It's somewhat related to my own mistakes in my time with Marvel," and then he went on to point out the setup for Thor to be with the Guardians, and I mean, that wasn't him, but still part of the setup that maybe he didn't want, and also the Adam Warlock tease from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and he just says that he wants to be careful, making sure he has a solid plan if he's setting something up. But he also said that he enjoys the Howard the Duck credit scene from Guardians Volume 1, which is more of, just kind of a fun scene that doesn't necessarily have those greater universe strings attached. Those two comments, to me, all but confirm that the two credit scenes we heard about are indeed in the movie. But in case you missed that report, we can go over it really quick. The first we heard about was Brainiac showing up in a credit scene. That falls under the setting something up category, obviously, but it works here because I think he's got it planned where Brainiac is going to appear in his next movie that he's currently writing, which he confirmed in this interview is an indirect sequel to Superman, which we of course know, at least, I mean, we don't know, but we know, come on, let's be real, we know it means world's finest. Then the second one, which is more in line with the Howard the Duck scene, is set to feature Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan. Obviously, he's far more important than Howard the Duck is, Hal Jordan that is, but if it goes as I predicted, it fits that humorous, no strings attached introduction. This one also does work though for setup because we're for sure getting that Lantern show, and obviously Nathan Fillion is going to hop over there from Superman and from Peacemaker as Guy Gardner. But that humorous route that I was alluding to before, which is what I think we're going to end up seeing in this credit scene if it happens, is that, Hal is going to come to Earth and he's going to big brother Guy Gardner. Maybe it's for his investigation that we're going to see in the Lantern show, or maybe it's just, he's just showing up on Earth to bitch out Guy Gardner for being an idiot, which he is, and we'll also most likely see Chip, the alien rodent Green Lantern. He's like a little squirrel, but he'll come with Hal in that scene most likely because there's some stuff that we saw on the Superman set while they were filming in Cleveland. Alright, with that out of the way, we've got to move on to a comment from one of the Justice Gang, Eddie Gathegi, who gave us a look into Mr. Terrific's future in the DCU, and just like Gunn, seemingly confirmed a rumor about the future of the universe, saying Superman isn't the only project that I'll be in. Now, some of you might not remember this rumor, some of you might have never even heard this rumor, but there was a report a while back, and I mean, we're going way, way, way back because this account has not been scooping for about a year now, so it's at least a year and a half, maybe even 2 years old, this rumor, but there was a rumor that Gunn was including an adaptation of the comic Strange Adventures for Chapter 1 of his new DCU. It came from DCU Leaks when they were still scooping, like I said, and they had a great track record with the DCU 2 in those early days. But for those of you who haven't read the book yet, Strange Adventures, Mr. Terrific is a key player because it's all about the investigation into Adam Strange and a murder. The Justice League, they're in charge of it, and they go to Batman for it, obviously, the world's greatest detective, but he doesn't believe that he can be objective in his investigation, and so he recommends Mr. Terrific, and there you go. That's the non-spoiler gist, and it just feels like the logical next step for Terrific in the DCU, not only because of the reliable scoop, but because Strange Adventures it's kind of in line with Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, the comic, and then what James Gunn's Superman movie seems like it's going to be, where there are these epic sci-fi stories. It also is just a story that, much like Gunn's Superman again, is seemingly going to do, can expand your universe exponentially just within one project. But most importantly, James Gunn gave us some insight into the DCU Trinity, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. He did admit that the Paradise Lost show, which is the Amazonian show that's supposed to be kind of like DC's Game of Thrones, is coming along, just not super quick. However, Wonder Woman fans rejoice because a new movie is in fact in the works. Before I get into that though, I do have to say that while I think a Paradise Lost show can work, I think it has a ton of potential. I think a Martian Civil War show would be a much better pick for their own Game of Thrones style show. I know it would be more expensive to do all that CGI on the Martians and everything, but it would be a fresh and relatively unexplored area in DC's live action history. I mean, they get into a bit in the CW universe with the Supergirl show, but it's not the focal point there, and I mean, come on, it's the CW. Regardless, I think I figured out who's writing this new Wonder Woman movie, and they've actually already written two movies for the new DCU. No, it's not James Gunn. I'm talking about Anna Neguera, who penned the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow script, and also the Teen Titans script, which that movie is supposed to start casting this year, according to recent reports, and that's why I see it as a possibility for her to move from that to this movie. But this would be three straight DCU projects for her, and so maybe she's not the writer, but maybe she does a pass on the movie and then she can go do her own thing. Whether it's the first pass or if she comes in for the final script as a script doctor, I think she'll 100% be involved in this movie. It's a logical ascension, especially if James Gunn likes her scripts, which it seems like he does, to go from Supergirl to Teen Titans to a member of the DC Trinity. Finally, Gunn confirmed that despite his plans for that Trinity that we've been talking about all video, he is yet to cast his Batman or his Wonder Woman to stand alongside David's Superman. But he did give us an update on the Batman Part 2, an update that I think indicates Gunn might not have to cast his own Batman because he already has him. Gunn said, "What Matt's doing is still really important. We're supposed to see that script shortly, and I can't wait." Now, it's unclear when this interview with Entertainment Weekly took place, but there was a report that the first full draft would be turned in about 2 weeks ago for Memorial Day. But regardless, at this point, with all the talk about Matt Reeves still being important to what they're doing at DC Studios, I'd feel pretty confident putting money on David Cornsweet and Robert Pattinson being our new world's finest duo for the DCU. I know that probably sounds crazy, and it's like, how are Matt Reeves and James Gunn gonna make that work creatively? But it actually goes back to how Thor was set up for the Guardians by the Russo brothers and not by James Gunn himself. I think that experience right there might just make Gunn the perfect guy to make this work and manage bringing Pattinson over while also allowing Reeves to fulfill his vision, which instead of being the Batman epic crime saga is now just DCU Gotham. I mean, Reeves is producing all of the Batman projects coming out of DC in the future, so it definitely seems like they can get along and work together despite what some people will tell you so that you click for the drama. And so that's going to do it for today's video. I want to know who you guys would cast to complete the DCU Trinity. Would you keep Pattinson or would you bring in a new Batman? So let me know down in the comments below and make sure you have a great day.